She brings together communities, she brings together issues.
She's been a great inspiration for many of us in the community.
One would have to say about Suki, at the end of the day, she is a force.
Suki Terada Ports is a trailblazing pioneer for civil rights, education, and healthcare. Suki's father, Yoshio, was from Hawaii, and mother, Sumiko, was raised in Seattle. They met at Columbia University as students.
I was born in New York City and at a hospital in Harlem because Dr. Iwamoto, being of Japanese ancestry, was not allowed to practice at most of the major hospitals.
But when World War II broke out, life changed for the family. After Pearl Harbor, although Japanese Americans in the East Coast were not interned in concentration camps, many of the prominent leaders in the New York Japanese community, including priests, doctors, and businessmen, were sent to Ellis Island for incarceration. Suki's mother, being born in Japan, was under house arrest by the FBI. She would have to call every time she had to leave the house and was not allowed to go outside Manhattan. Suki was too young at the time to understand what was going on, but this would later have a profound effect on her life. After graduating from Smith College as the only American-born woman of color in her class, she teaches in Turkey. There, she meets future husband Horace Hotz Ports Jr. After a year, Suki returns to New York, dedicating herself to local educational and social issues. In 1968, during anti-Vietnam War protests, Suki fought alongside Harlem neighbors and Columbia University students to end the university's proposed gymnasium to be built on Morningside Park.
Love to hear Suki tell. It was about her work in stopping the expansion of Columbia University, how she actually sat in a bulldozer to keep the bulldozer from doing the work.
After a 2-year court battle, Columbia's case was dismissed. And today, Morningside has a beautiful public park. Suki was a member of the New York City Local School Board to improve the quality of education in integrated neighborhood schools.
Suki was on the west side in the school struggles in Harlem, and I was involved in Ocean Hill-Brownsville, so we came together to the Board of Education more than once, and we supported each other's actions and sit-ins.
She also chaired the New York State Division for Youth's Independent Review Board. They oversaw the rights of the incarcerated, quality of programs, and the prevention of juvenile delinquency. When AIDS became a serious health threat in the mid-1980s, Suki was aware of the lack of information on HIV/AIDS among minorities, especially Asian Americans.
When I really got to work with Suki is when I became the executive director of the New York AIDS Coalition. She was definitely involved in helping us shape our policy agenda and our budget agenda. Worked very closely on the planning group, helping to bring services to people in New York City.
She and others established the National Minority AIDS Council, Iris House, and the Family Health Project. The Family Health Project provided HIV/AIDS prevention information, advocacy, and support services for low-income women of color and their families. As the project's executive director, Suki has helped to raise awareness among public officials, service providers, and foundations about the impact of HIV/AIDS on communities of color. At the same time, Suki also co-founded APICHA, Asian and Pacific Islander Coalition on HIV/AIDS. Designated as a federally recognized community health center, APICHA provides HIV tests, treatment, and prevention resources to Asian American, Pacific Islander, and LGBTQ communities in New York City. Suki serves as vice president for the Japanese American Association, JAA.
One of the projects that Suki's most proud of is the Project Charge, an effort among Asian organizations to put a grant together so that they could inform their community about the Affordable Care Act. We got the grant and she was able to get navigators who could speak Japanese to better influence and educate our community.
And because of her own family's experience during World War II, Suki has strongly voiced her opposition to the registration and incarceration of Muslim Americans.
Muslims are here and they have come to the U.S. because we've said that we're a democracy, and we've got to live up to that.
Although she's received many praises and honors for being an activist and community leader, Suki Terada Ports continues to serve tirelessly on a grassroots level.
Amazed at how she has so much energy and does so much good for so many people.
She's always introducing you to someone. She has an incredible network.
At one of her parties, we had Gloria Steinem, we had David Dinkins. There's a Japanese saying that the nail that sticks out always gets hammered. That the reason why she's so short is because she's always speaking up and speaking out and is always getting hammered down.
Anyone who knows Suki, you know it's not an easy thing to disagree with her. I would say 9 times out of 10, she's always right.
Everything she does, she just does because it's the right thing to do.
And I think that if we had more people like Suki, the world would be such a better place.